Present, you got to do Mahomes is right there. You got to do present.
Give me in
You got
order too,
Mahomes.
in order of how where you think they at. So Mahomes one.
Mahomes one, Rogers two. Um, as far as right now, Russ would be three. Four. I still got to put Brady up there.
Hmm.
I still got to put him up there. Um, and five, I'll. Oh, I'll put Big Ben right up at five.
All right. What about you, Marcus?
Y'all forgot about Drew Brees.
No,
You
he's
forgot all about him.
definitely no. Drew Brees is out of my
But
top five right now.
not well, yeah, he this year, no. He's showing his age this year. But of course, number one would be Mahomes.
Okay.
Uh Russ for me. That's one of my favorite players.
Number two.
Russ.
Right.
Number three. Right now, Big Ben. And oh wait, yeah, number four. Um, oh man,
It's
And I
tough.
know I'm missing somebody too.
that's
I just
tough.
know yeah, because it's right off the top right there. I know I'm missing somebody.
Deshaun, maybe.
Mm-mm.
No, not this
And
time.
honestly, with the way Kyler's playing right now, Kyler can be up there
But he's
in
That's
that
streaky. That's a
conversation.
streaky dude for right now.
But I mean, if we're talking like right now, like yeah, Brady hasn't been playing great, but
See,
I'm not
you
putting Brady in my
that's
top five.
because people are comparing Brady to Brady. You know what
Yeah,
I'm
and that's
saying?
and that's
that's
and that's
just
what I was
because he's
thinking when I
Brady.
said his name. I was just like, he hadn't had a
Yeah.
great year, and I think
Right.
they'll get better. They'll be all right. They'll make the playoffs, but I think I'm just more so drawing a blank more than anything right now.
He's right now he's more susceptible to throw interceptions than I've ever seen him. So
He's
He
not
can't
used to the
throw past
team.
20 past 20
yeah,
yards.
him
He's
and
horrible
yeah,
past
he
20
him and
yards.
Breeze, they're dinking dunkers this year. So
Breeze a
who's
shoulder
yeah.
and like so that's
So who's
yeah,
four and
man.
five then, Marcus? You still need four and five.
Rodgers. I forgot about Aaron Rodgers.
Uh-huh.
He's
Hmm.
also one of my favorite dudes. And the fifth, I'm
I know I'm
gonna just
forgetting
say Matt Ryan because you know why?
Oh
It's
hell
because
no.
I'm gonna just tell you this, dude. Dude
Homer.
is
That's a
keeping. He's giving us a chance.
it's
And a
a
lot of
homer.
people look. I'm ready to draft a quarterback. I think it's time for us to draft one. Even if we could trade Matt Ryan for like an Alex Smith, cut our salary cap down, and possibly invest in a draft pick or try to get somebody through the draft. Possibly I would do that. I would even package Julio and Matt Ryan right now. I would package them and send them somewhere for some
they're
So
not
draft picks and a
nobody's
line.
gonna do that. Nobody's
yeah.
gonna do that.
Of
Okay.
It's
course
too
not,
much
of
money.
course not,
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
of
nobody. So
course
you
not.
guys don't think Lamar Jackson or Dak Prescott
See,
are top five?
see, and
And
I
I'm saying Dak because he's hurt, but before he got hurt,
right.
Mm,
he
Lamar
was.
would have been in there for me other than Brady. I know I'm just drawing blanks. I'm like, I know I'm forgetting somebody. Yeah, Lamar definitely
So
would have been
that's
there.
I got Pat.
Dak
I
would
got
be like 6 or 7 for
okay.
me.
I got Pat Mahomes at one. I got Russ at two. At three, I'm going to go with Big Ben. I got to just because they're undefeated. You got to
Right.
put him in there. Four, I'm probably gonna go with Josh Allen because he's surprised. I got him in my fantasy league. Look, he's
I forgot him.
surprising people.
No,
He's
yeah, I agree with
scoring,
that.
and he's actually he beat Russ in a shootout. So when they played,
Well, they ain't got no defense. So
right,
the card
but
the
and I think I would have to go with Aaron Rodgers in the last spot.
I forgot about Josh Allen.
Yeah,
I
and
totally
that's just
forgot
I'm
about him.
just listen. I'm not going based off of Pat. I'm just going based off of this year's performance. And as a quarterback, he's definitely he's scoring a lot of points for me in fantasy.
now I'll tell you this. Up until like week 4, Josh Allen was leading the MVP race. He was playing great, and then I think he started kind of coming down to earth.
Well, that's the same
But
thing with Russ too. Russ was like out of his mind in the first 4 weeks.
Exactly. Right. And then he started to come
I
out.
think that
But
got
then,
to do with training camp with a lot of them. Like the defenses are starting to catch up somewhat, or get a
yeah.
little, I don't know.
And then also too, you start to see Mahomes and Rodgers kind of stay consistent, while Josh Allen and
Russ.
Josh Allen and Russ were declining. So
Well, they just had a couple hiccups.
A few, but Josh Allen, he didn't even play great against the Chargers last week. You guys got the W, but he didn't play great.
Russ, the problem with Russ, man, is that I think he tries to take over the game too much. Like I disagree. I think he takes it. He puts it in his hands too much, and I think that's like an Achilles heel for them, because he puts pressure on himself to, make those impossible throws, and I think that the offense, they rely on him a lot, to where that kind of diminishes their ability, because they put a lot of trust in this man, but it's like just heavy for him.
They don't have the run game. Really, like their backs, they don't have a consistent run game.
They can have an average run game.
You don't have, but that's the thing. It's really, Russ has been that offense, the play action, open that up. Between their running backs, I think it was past 2 or 3 years, they've had so many running backs come through that system.
Since Marshawn Lynch.
You have, but when you got somebody like DK Metcalf, and then you have another guy on the other side like Lockett. I mean, you can find things to muster up as far as with those two. So, I mean, I think he's doing enough, because if he just was passive and average and not trying to make these incredible throws and fit in these tight windows, they wouldn't be in a position that they're at right now.
And that's what I mean by him putting all that pressure on him, like on himself.
That's why they get paid so much.
You make the big bucks.
That's why they get paid so much.
Right. That's what we pay you for, to do stuff like that. So I'm gonna throw it back at you, Tudor. So who's your all-time QBs?
All-time quarterbacks. My favorite quarterback of all time. So number 1 for me is Joe Montana. Okay. That's number 1. Number 2 is Aaron Rodgers, just because I like the way he throws his ball and his mobility. 3, Peyton Manning.
Okay.
4 is Brady. Just from what I think, a lot of, I'm a Bills fan, so I'm always gonna have some kind of hate for Brady, and I think a lot of his success is because of that system with Bill Belichick. Just because we seen what Matt Castle did, Jacoby, the quarterback that went to the Colts, and Jacoby Brissett and Garoppolo. All them quarterbacks won. Matt Castle got rich from that one season Brady got hurt.
Man, Garoppolo too, and look at him playing now, and they trying to ship Jacoby.
Him out. Yeah, so I think a lot of that is the system. And number 5, I'm going to go with right now Patrick Mahomes, because I haven't seen nobody do what he's doing. So that's my 5 personally. What about you?
I don't want to go favorites, because if it's like my favorite, I'm gonna put Vic at number 1.
Well, so that's your top. I'm saying your top 5 in your eyes. If you needed a quarterback, with your quarterbacks that you think, this is a personal list. This isn't.
If that's the case, if it's personal, one of my original people is gonna have to get booted. But I'm put Vic up there because he's one of my all-time favorites, and then from there Joe, and then I put Brady. After that, I'll do Manning, and then cap it out with Rodgers.
Okay. What about you, Marcus?
So this is all time, right? I was up here writing down. Had to go through my brain and figure this out. But my first one of my favorites, Kurt Warner. 2, Brett Favre. 3, Ben Roethlisberger. 4, Pat Mahomes. And then 5, I just got to say Matt Ryan, because I just really appreciate how this man has been consistent for 12 years, at least giving us a chance. I mean, I'm ready for him to go, but I'm just saying, man, that's one of my favorite.
It seemed like you like people who got, we lost Marlon. I think you still there? Well, I guess we're having some.
Dang, I said Matt Ryan. He just dipped.
Matt Ryan, he just dipped. He couldn't take it no more.
But I like, I mean, just to elaborate on that.
But before you do, your list seems like you like people who can throw that ball deep because everybody you name had a cannon.
Yeah, no, I do. I like the pocket passer. I think that the league catches up to those who are like one of those dual threat guys. You have to be special. Like you got to be a Russ, you got to be a Deshaun, you got to be a Lamar.
Yeah.
You have to be of that caliber. So Marlon, we discussing.
When I heard that Matt Ryan, I'm just like, I gotta get out of here.
That's what we said.
I gotta get out of here.
But I was just telling him his list seemed like he liked people with big arms for the most part that got cannons that can throw the ball downfield.
I was saying,
so Matt Ryan has a big arm.
No, he does not.
Not anymore.
No, Matt Ryan. So okay, I'm gonna let Marlon. So do you think Matt Ryan ever had what we would consider a cannon arm, like a big that can like a Mahomes, a Rodgers, Big Ben, one of them? That's what kind of Mike Vick, those caliber of quarterback that can throw it like that.
It's hard. So I think he had somewhat of it. I don't think he had the arm that Mahomes or Rodgers has.
What about Breeze? Maybe Breeze? No, I don't even think he had the arm Breeze.
No, Breeze got an arm.
Yeah, Breeze had a cannon.
Breeze, surprisingly, for as small Breeze was, his deep ball was actually really good.
Yeah.
Surprisingly. So
and that's what I mean. The velocity on the deep ball. That's what I mean by cannon. Like how it
I think Matt Ryan did, but he's just getting so much older now. So I think around the years that we saw him be an MVP, although Julio Jones made his job a lot easier because he can catch anything he throws away.
Roddy White before that.
Roddy too.
And I hate those. I hate those arguments because any team. I mean, you want to bring good players around, surround your team with good players, right? You want people who can do extraordinary things. So when you draft people, you look for those folks, and that's what we did. And anybody, look at what you say. I was going to use AJ Green and Andy Dalton for an example. Well, we could use them. But Andy Dalton. But look, people can argue all day that Andy Dalton is Matt Ryan. They both the same. They can argue that. You can argue it. But look at what how
much success they had.
He had AJ
They did
Green.
have success, and he had TJ Hushmanzada.
He had a running back. He had a running game.
No, he didn't. Did he have Hushmanzada
and
Chad Johnson? Was it Andy Dalton? Was that Carson Palmer?
Oh, that was Carson.
Okay. Carson. You're right.
This was late 2000s, and Carson this was late 2000s.
Because Carson went to go play for the
Cardinals.
Yeah,
Cardinals,
right.
Yep.
But you want players, you want good players, and I hate when people say, "Well, he got this person, he got that person." Look at teams.
Do you think? Okay, let me ask you this: if you took out Matt Ryan and you put in, say, Russell Wilson, do they win a Super Bowl by now?
Yep.
Yes, I agree.
That's where Matt Ryan falls short. He doesn't have that clutch. He doesn't have that clutch gene.
Matt Ryan is a robot, okay? You tell him a game plan, he'll stick with it even if it sucks.
A game manager. He's a game manager for the most part.
Right,
He just has some weapons.
He's a smart game manager.
But that's like Alex Smith. Are you going to win with a game manager? They have been the Baltimore Ravens one with Trent Dilfer. But you got to have that.
But also too, you had one of the best defenses ever.
So,
well, the Tampa Bay. Who did the Tampa Bay Buccaneers win with that year?
Trent Dilfer.
Was that Trent Dilfer too?
No, that was
when Gruden won the title when he came and took over Dungy's team.
Was that Rich Gannon?
No, Rich Gannon was for the Raiders.
That was before. Who are you talking about? The Bucks?
The Bucks when John Gruden won his only championship when he took over.
Brad Johnson.
Brad Johnson, another game manager.
Brad, how long did he last in the league?
He played.
Compare that to Matt Ryan's career.
As a journeyman, he was around for a very long time. Actually,
Matt Ryan ain't no journeyman.
But he's not an elite quarterback.
Who, Matt Ryan?
Yes.
He'll make the Hall of Fame because of his stats that he put up in Atlanta. He broke just a ton of records. So, I mean, he'll make the Hall of Fame.
So if he wins a championship, he's a solidified elite player.
I don't think he's ever been an elite caliber.
He was elite for a small window.
I think he's tier 2. I think he's a tier 2 quarterback.
Man,
I think I will give him. Okay, who's a better quarterback, him or Donovan McNabb?
I don't know Donovan's career like that to even answer that.
Basically the same kind of career.
But also Donovan never won an MVP.
That's true.
Matt Ryan
better.
So some people will just
listen. I'm asking you, prime. Okay, since you haven't seen him, Marcus, prime McNabb or prime.
I'm taking prime McNabb all the way because I can appreciate a mobile quarterback because you can. And the dude was massive, 6'4", 6'5".
He was a Ben Roethlisberger,
260. Like he was massive and he was quick on his feet.
Yeah.
So he was able to do things and make plays out of nothing, whereas Matt was never mobile. And we see that now in his career where his offensive line is breaking down and he just has to get rid of the ball or take a sack.
Yeah.
So even still in some of McNabb's later years, and he also had one of the best coaches, he was able to do some things, you know?
Okay. Now I want to kind of switch that since we're talking about coaches to the NBA. Do you think LeBron suffered from never playing for a quote unquote great coach or a very, very strong coaching mind in his career? Because I want to get into the top 5, but I'm just saying like how there's a difference. Everybody always compare him to Kobe and to Jordan, but nobody talks about the Phil Jackson factor with them, with the coaching aspect of it. How Mike got into a system that was basically designed for him by the coach that made him successful, which was the same system that helped Kobe. It's where LeBron came in. Who was his first coach in Cleveland? I know Mike Brown was a coach for a while, but who was his real? When did he really have
the thing is with LeBron, and I understand what you're saying, like the question you're kind of phrasing it, but I think the thing with LeBron is, especially at this career, he doesn't need one because at this point, there's nothing that any coach can teach him. And even still earlier on, he was still able to develop and build some of these attributes that he has now to this day. So I personally think that it only made him stronger by not having a coach that was Phil or a Pop or somebody like that, because now when you look at his career, he's never had one of the best coaches ever. So when you look at the categories of, oh yeah, who's the best ever X, Y, and Z? Well, you could put Michael Jordan and Kobe in this category, but they also had Pop. I'm sorry, they also had Phil.
Well, that's kind of my argument. Do you think if he would have had maybe a Phil or a Pop or someone along those lines that he may have he may have had more championships, or he may have been more of a killer, something may have been designed for
possibly
him maybe, or is it just his career was going to take whichever path that his
career, just because when you look at somebody that size that comes out of the league, you knew he was going to be great. You just knew it. So
now it's been some big boys that came out the league that wasn't all,
but
that we thought was going to be the next coming or something.
That's very true. That's true. That's true. Me personally, I honestly feel that when you look at how many times this man has made the finals, it could have went either way in some of those. So more championships could have came there.
That's where the coaching takes place.
That's what I'm saying. So at that point, yes, if he had a better coach, maybe like a Doc or somebody like that, I think that is a possibility. So
what about you, Marcus?
But
my bad. I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
You good, but I got to get out of here. But I just want to say, and I'm gonna leave you guys with this: my personal all-time favorite players. Got to go Kobe, MJ. Now Kobe was my Jordan in my era. So Kobe,
Right.
MJ, D Wade, Melo, and AI.
So you don't even have LeBron in your top 5.
No, but my top 5, as far as for what I will argue, that's going to be Jordan, LeBron, Magic, Kareem, Kobe. But my
People
personal
forget.
top 5, he's not in it. And that's the thing. I've been a Laker fan my whole life. So this is the fact that we got him. Yeah, great, it's cool. But we've had 10 rough years of pain, dealing with Kobe's up and downs, Swaggy P, Jeremy Lin, Dwight, the first time around, Stephen. It was rough.
Yeah.
It was rough those 10 years. And just Kobe's retirement and all that. Rest in peace, Kobe. We're talking about him a lot, but it's been tough. But I mean, now we got LeBron, we got AD, so we gonna win some championships, man.
Well, all right. Well, before you go, what's your the name of your podcast? Shout that out and when they can catch you.
Yeah, so Marlon vs. Marlon's a podcast. We're on YouTube, Facebook, go Facebook Live just about every Tuesday. We're on wherever you get your podcast. We're on there, and mainly sports podcast. 90% sports. We'll do some pop culture. I was actually looking forward to getting to some of these comedians and all that, but yeah. So we're all over. Me and my co-host Marlon. We have a good time now. But before I leave too, for the comedians, and this is just mine.
Okay.
I got Bernie. Bernie's my number 1. Martin Lawrence, Chris Rock, Kevin Hart, and Jamie Foxx.
Ooh. What you think about that? Hold on, Marcus. What you think about that? See, Marcus, he does a lot of hosting and some stand up. So where do you, as far as that, what do you think of that list and what's your list?
Okay, you can argue Jamie Foxx because he is great.
Underrated too.
You say what now?
Underrated as far as comedy goes.
I do believe yes. Yeah. He's very underrated. Your list is good. I think what I was thinking about was the Jamie Foxx at 5, but as I started talking about it, he deserves that spot at least,
because I could easily put Red Fox in there, Richard Pryor. I can do that, but that's not my era.
Right.
Well, mine is a little different too. So I get it, but I just didn't. I don't know. Go ahead.
Yeah.
What about yours, Marcus?
So I got Dave Chappelle. Well, this is in order. In order?
Yes, it has to be in order. Yeah.
So my number 1 is Dave Chappelle. Second, Cat Williams. Number 3 is Bert Kreischer. I don't know if you ever heard of him. Funny white dude.
I know you talking.
Check him out.
Funny white dude.
I know
he's on Netflix.
Okay.
And then I would say
got 2 more.
Cole. Huh?
2 more.
Deion Cole. And then my 5th one, I just gotta say Matt Ryan, man, because Matt Ryan, he's just funny like that, bro.
I know he is funny playing too.
Yeah.
I don't have a 5th one off the top of my brain. Tom Segura.
Ugh.
Tom Segura is hilarious.
He's all right.
Have you seen his latest one?
No, I haven't. I will check it out because I love stand-up. So mine in order is Dave Chappelle, Bill Burr, number 2 right now for me. Patrice O'Neal, number 3. Tony Roberts, number 4. And you don't know who Tony Roberts is? He's from Detroit. Y'all gotta check him out. He has a couple specials. Check him out. Tony Roberts is dope. And 5, I'm gonna have to go with Chris Rock.
Chris Rock was
Chris Rock,
and and Eddie Murphy would be kind of
Eddie Murphy just
around there too.
Would, but he didn't put out enough stand-up material,
Yeah.
And Kevin Hart, I couldn't go Kevin Hart because his last couple specials.
I didn't watch it. I didn't watch it, man. I didn't watch it yet.
He's taking a lot of criticism. It wasn't that bad, but it wasn't when you want to be. It wasn't when you put a standard out and you mentioned with the Dave Chappelles and the Chris Rocks.
Gotta come with it.
You gotta come
start
with
hurting
it.
people's feelings.
Because those are greats. And he always, one thing I love about him in his interviews, he's always at least very appreciative and humble that he's mentioned with those people. And I think we've seen what he's been able to do is to we've seen other comedians go in theaters and put out movies and all that, but this dude was selling out arenas.
Oh, I love his business mind and everything he's doing. Yeah, of course.
Definitely.
But like I say, when you want to be mentioned with those, when you want to be the comedy rock star and be mentioned with the greats, you know, I don't know that I can put one of Kevin Hart's specials up against any of Dave Chappelle's specials.
Yeah. But hey, fellas, I gotta run. Appreciate you guys for having me on, man.
Thank you, bro.
I'm gonna stay tuned in and tapped in. And by the way, Marcus, I always make fun of Tudor with his hours all the time.
Yeah, he loves.
But I give you buckets, so that's all that matters.
That's a conversation for another day.
Ain't no hours and buckets.
That's a conversation for another day.
All right, brother. Hey, thanks for joining,
y'all.
bro.
Thanks,
Stay
Marlon.
safe. No problem. Thank you. All right.